A green, bruising fruit splits open in your hand like warm custard. Inside it is a problem. One of North America's richest native foods survived ice ages, empires, and industrial farming, then nearly vanished from the country that grew over its forests. It tastes like banana, mango, vanilla, sometimes melon, but it is not tropical. It once grew from the Gulf Coast into southern Ontario, in river bottoms, under hardwood canopies, thick enough for people to live on. George Washington reportedly chilled it for dessert. Lewis and Clark ate it when supplies ran low. And today, most Americans have never seen one. The pawpaw looks almost made up. A soft green oval, sometimes the size of a potato, sometimes closer to a small mango. Cut one open, and the flesh turns yellow to deep orange. Big black seeds sit in two neat rows, like polished stones. The smell hits first. Fermented banana, fresh cream, tropical candy, something overripe, almost suspicious. Then the texture, dense, custardy, a spoon, fruit, really. That alone helps explain why America forgot it. Because the modern fruit system rewards durability before flavor. It rewards skin that can survive a conveyor belt, cold storage, cross-country trucking, a distribution center, and a week on your counter. The pawpaw fails almost every one of those tests. It bruises if you look at it wrong. It ripens fast. Industrial agriculture built a kingdom around apples, oranges, and bananas. The pawpaw was too soft, too irregular, so the market treated it like a defect. America did not forget the pawpaw because it was bad. America forgot it because it was difficult. Indigenous communities across eastern North America already knew the fruit well. Archaeological evidence and historical accounts place pawpaw use across a broad range. Seeds moved with people. Knowledge moved with people. Settlers learned from landscapes that had already been read for centuries. The pawpaw's Latin name, Asimina triloba, sounds clinical, but the plant itself is unruly. It spreads by root suckers, forming thickets. Its flowers are dark maroon, almost the color of liver. They smell faintly of fermentation, to attract flies and beetles. This is what makes the pawpaw feel prehistoric. It belongs to a much older ecological script, a subtropical ghost that learned to tolerate winter. During the Pleistocene, when North America still had giant ground sloths and mastodons, larger fruits made more sense. In ecological terms, the pawpaw may be a fruit outliving the animals it was built for. So how did it continue? Water and humans helped. The continent did not begin with the produce aisle. It began with chestnuts, persimmons, groundnuts, and fruits like pawpaw. The national diet narrowed as the agricultural state expanded. Orchards favored European species. Trade networks standardized taste. By the 19th century, the pawpaw carried class baggage. It was associated with backwoods life, with eating what the formal market did not respect. The strangest part is that the pawpaw never fully left. It hovered under the official food system, half memory, half rumor. Kentucky State University established dedicated research programs. Plant breeders selected named varieties like Shenandoah and Susquehanna. This is active reconstruction. The pawpaw demands timing, place, and a willingness to meet a food where it lives. It is not trying to become everyone's fruit. Modern agriculture treats taste as a side effect. The pawpaw makes taste the entire event. The fruit America forgot was native and nutritious, and adapted to much of the eastern United States. But the fruit system America built leaned heavily on extraction elsewhere. That doesn't mean pawpaws could have replaced bananas on a national scale. They couldn't. Not cleanly. Their season is short. Their shelf life is awful. Yields can be variable. Pollination is unreliable. Orchard knowledge is specialized. But the comparison exposes the architecture of preference. America did not simply choose the tastiest fruit. It chose the fruit that worked with capital. Once you see that, a soft green pawpaw becomes a record of everything the market edits out. Even the tree's chemistry hints at this tension. Pawpaw twigs, bark, leaves, and seeds contain compounds called acid. In the wild, these chemicals help defend the plant. The leaves are the exclusive host for the zebra swallowtail caterpillar. So a forgotten fruit tree on a creek bank is also part of an insect story, a chemical story, a coevolution story, not just food. Meanwhile, the fruit itself is nutritionally respectable. Carbohydrates, vitamin C, minerals, amino acids, and useful caloric density for a seasonal wild food. Imagine moving through a humid late summer forest before refrigerated abundance. A ripe pawpaw is not a garnish. It is soft energy in the hand. Lewis and Clark were not writing tasting notes. They were hungry. Pawpaws became part of what kept them going in 1806. This is a different category of fruit. Not lifestyle food, contingency food, survival food. It once stood between people and a thinner margin of endurance. Recovery can turn a living species into a boutique object. The fruit becomes rare because it is expensive, not because it is absent. Something sampled at a festival, turned into sorbet, until the original ecological depth gets flattened into branding. Growers are planting orchards. Conservationists see in pawpaw not just a fruit but a broader challenge to how landscapes are designed. Could regional food systems accept seasonal fragility instead of pretending every fruit should be available every week of the year? Because climate pressure is rearranging agriculture in real time. Longer heat waves and erratic spring frosts are exposing how brittle food systems can be. Picture a child in the Midwest or Appalachia learning one local tree by smell before they can name most grocery store cultivars. Picture a grandparent cutting open a ripe pawpaw at a kitchen table, warning them not to chew the seeds. When it disappears, the loss is not abstract biodiversity. It is one less way for a place to feel inhabited by memory instead of inventory. Bottomland hardwood forests were logged, fragmented, or swallowed by development. Pawpaws persist in disturbed edges, but the ecological web thins. This is the late twist. The pawpaw did not merely get forgotten, it got stranded by a civilization that replaced the habitats that made remembering normal. Accepting that some foods will never behave like apples and should not be judged as failed apples. The pawpaw forces a consumer to change. You have to eat it soon. You have to tolerate mess. In exchange, you get flavor that behaves like soil. It keeps one thing the market keeps sacrificing. Singularity. Not one taste replicated millions of times. A real season, a narrow window. The pawpaw still faces old bottlenecks. Orchard establishment takes years. Flowers may need hand pollination. It is a stubborn species with terms of its own. They talk about carrying fruit home in towels because anything harder would bruise it. About standing under a thicket in late September. A nation built on commercial sameness still has, in its low woods, edible histories that were not fully erased. Hidden food systems. By the time a pawpaw reaches perfect ripeness, it is almost too late. You have a day before luxury becomes waste. The question is, why a country so obsessed with abundance built a food system that had no room for its own sweetest fruits? What else is still out there right now, ripening off the books, vanishing because we only know how to value what arrives unbruised?